This is Joe Smith from the Midwest Football Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It all helps us grow our show. Look for our full show, too, anywhere you find podcasts. Links below.
But let's talk a little bit about the offensive line. We're running a little short on time, so we're not going to do a gigantic segment here. But let's break down the class in a general way. What does the offensive line prospects look like this year?
Well, this one's interesting because you have a few tackles that are probably going in the first round, maybe 5, and a lot of them are kind of more right tackles. You got Skoronski, who they might kick in as a guard more. But the real value in this year's class, I think, is in the centers, where there's 3 centers out of the Big Ten, the Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. And I think you can find some real positional value in the middle of the draft this year where you can't always do that.
Okay, the Steelers live with the positional value in the middle rounds. So, and really, so do a lot of well-run franchises. This is how they get their value with their middle round picks. I had posted on our Facebook page about the players that the Lions could have had in the Jeff Okudah draft, and the names that kept coming up for the teams that drafted quality guys were the Steelers, the Ravens, all those tough guys that the positional value isn't where you want to be, but they're going so late in drafts that that's actually where the value is.
Yeah, and I think that this is a good chance to continue doing it. If you strike out on the tackles in the first round, no need to panic. Just boost the interior of that line, keep the quarterbacks on his spot.
Exactly. I feel like as you're building a team, it's always really helpful to draft offensive line. I've always been a big offensive line guy because you need to have a quality unit in order for it to make any difference at all. But if you do, it makes everyone better. Plus the fact that other than your left tackle, they're not really premier pay positions. So you can get pretty good bang for your buck there from a salary cap perspective. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but I like to see a team go quarterback until they know they have one, offensive line somewhere in the first 3 rounds every year if you need it or not, defense somewhere in one of your first 2 picks, whether you need it or not, because you got to keep developing those and you got to get off ramp so you don't have to pay everybody on your team that's halfway any good.